Beloved cosmic familia, welcome back. Before I get into the cards, I have a channeled message to share. As we are in a migration stage, and this is not so much about going from one city to another or from one country to another. That is in the physical. To be leaving one place to another place. But in another sense, the whole world is gradually becoming like one big global village. And we can be anywhere. On a mountain. On the moon. But it's as though physically, in a sense, we are still in the same place. In reality, we're connected to every part of this world, especially by our technology. No matter where we go, and this is not a matter of hiding, although you can still go to a cave and function just as well from there. You can operate a business from a cave through computers and satellites. It's as though our lamplight at some point in time, due to these implanting of sub-programs, our lamp light became small. So we had to expand. Now it's like people are in a hurry to get to Mars. They want to go there and live there. And it's like maybe 10, 15 years ago, I could have seen where they were coming from with that. But here's the thing. The type of migration that I'm speaking on technically would not be a migration if we did not leave one place and then go back to it. The whole world we have the whole world. This is our home. So we're not really, what are we doing? We're not really migrating, but we are in a sense. This is why I'm saying not to take it literal. This is an analogy. It's like everybody's in a big hurry to leave this world. But we are the world. The migration has to do with our spiritual core and moving away from not abandoning or forgetting or throwing out, tossing away old versions of ourselves, but the expansion by changing the dynamics of expansion instead of coming together as a whole, because our lamplight became more dim. This expansion is an expansion of that light. And this is why although past decisions molded us in some kind of way, they don't completely define us. Part of this spiritual warfare is to prevent us from actually returning home. And home is our higher self and source, where everything and everyone sprang from. We have been giving the best tools to work with here. The best principles, even. But those principles are not what is shared with us by way of our churches, our educational systems, and even most events and social gatherings. They keep us affixed in this time matrix rather than promote or accelerate our expansion. But there are some principles. This is why I say not all traditions are meant to DIE. Because these principles come from teachings at the highest level of understanding. If we stick by some principles, observe them, experience them, and act on them, this is how we achieve true expansion, true ascension even. There's certain words that I'm trying to use less and will be using less. However, the point being here is that some of these principles, and now I have to turn this card because it separated itself from the deck, but we'll get to it in just a moment. It's going to blow your mind when you see what it is, because it's extremely relevant to what I'm saying. we will eventually achieve this expansion and ascension everyone at some point in time will be or is longing for. And I'm not talking about going to Mars. I'm not even talking about going to the moon. We're going from old patterns, old cycles, old ways of being, believing, and behaving. Setting our eyes on more congruent mannerisms and the best desire to achieve our higher self, by also not focusing on others and their moral compass, but focusing on ourselves and going within and improving our own moral compass. We will naturally align with others with the same interests, the same goal in mind, the same or similar moral compass. And I believe that no matter who you are, where you come from, or where you are coming from a different standpoint, any one of you can achieve this and the satisfaction of Source. Doing away with the Judas and Jezebel energies, the Ahabs, the Delilahs. But I'm not talking about biblical history here. I'm talking about humanity as a whole, regardless of your religious background and who did what in the past. I'm just giving these names as examples to offer some kind of familiarity with this understanding. Our mannerism and aiming to improve, regardless of other people's opinions on it. That's not why we're not making improvements because someone told us we should, but because it is spirit-led, because it is a heartfelt, conscious action. To achieve the most optimal level of the value we wish to see, to be the change. And by achieving that power, the spiritual ascension, the self-realization of the ego, let it know where it stands and how and when to know its limits. When we realize the limits of the ego, we will then open our eyes to the heart and the vision and where is it really from? It's from where we came from, the highest white light, that which we are returning to. Opening up to this highest level of understanding through meditation, trying even today to practice it in every possible way. However, spiritual ascension is not something that we achieve through meditation alone. To continue practicing to connect with our own energy, which is always connected to the divine, the highest of the universal energy, which at this time is cosmos. And then divine presence. Meditation is not something that we hold. It's almost like we are requesting something very similar to prayer, asking from someone something. So, in all reality, meditation doesn't have a specific structure. It has no form. It's universal. Because everyone is always asking something. Everyone is always thinking. It is not more than thought. To do any kind of study, beloveds, is a meditation. That becomes a mediation. To study medication is a mediation. Philosophy, a mediation. Spirituality, a mediation. It's more like it's not something that you receive and then you're no longer asking for it. So meditation is the first step towards enabling us take the next step to reach the ladder. How can we climb the ladder if we have not even reached the ladder? So meditation is a spiritual step. That we are stepping and reaching through it. Something that we will own later. Not now. Even though the time is always now. It is already done. It is already here. It is already written. But to meditate for even 1 hour is better than a lifetime of worship. The card that came separate from the deck also came out in the last message, uploading as I speak. Teachings with this 8 of diamonds. Both material and spiritual realms are expanding, growing, improving. At the bottom of the deck, we have yet another ace. With these improvements comes reward. Divine reward. Meditation is more effective. You will move so much more rapidly. Through meditational practices. But I'm not going to shove this ideal down anyone's throat. Beloveds, in this present state of our existence, none of us are saints, nor will we be saints. What we can do is not concern ourselves with what others are doing so much as what we are doing. Meditation speeds up the reward. So we have double the reward here on the table. Expansion occurring both in the material and the spiritual realms. New, new, new. New to us because at one time it was us. We chose to move out of those higher densities into these lower densities. Our feet in the 3D, but our head is in the clouds of the the 4 and 5D. Many of us. Some, of course, are very much so rooted in the 2 and 3D way of thinking. We're not here to shame them. To everyone, this is why it's called God Protocol. Although we are all connected to a degree, we have to focus on our personal ascension instead of taking the focus off of ourselves and concerning ourselves with other people's awakenings and ascensions, expansions. When you're thinking of achievement and reward, that is not a pure way or pure meditation. We are still asking for something in return. But it is when we decline that approach and resist expecting anything in return. This is where we actually start seeing results. Success, passing tests, because we understand that we were created by a will that was not our own, per se. But as we are all part of the whole, it is multiple collectives, not just a singular collective. Multiple collectives contributing. We're not asking paradise because that deeper understanding is that that paradise is already here. It's already within. That divine presence is already here. With this 4 of Hearts, the 4 of Cups, we're being guided to not ignore the stability that is being offered to us directly by the divine. Just imagine in the Rider-Waite the hand coming in with a cup, but in the traditional tarot, in the Rider-Waite, it doesn't actually show a hand holding a cup. The cup is a fountain. And from that fountain flows the grace, the love, the compassion, the nurturing gifts from the divine. See ourselves like a leaf in the fall. The wind takes it right or left. The leaf surrenders to the wind, to the flow. It does not say to the wind, "Where are you throwing me today?" You could be the captain of your own ship, beloveds. But listen here. If you're out in that ocean, whether you are holding that wheel or not, that wind can come through at any time and take you where it goes. So this is to say that nothing ever really turns out the way that we 100% visualize it. As we do have free will, divine order is always at play. Yes, the ship sails according to the wind, and source is that wind. Whether you are a believer or a non-believer, it doesn't matter. And I'm not going to judge you either way. That is not for me to do. It's never going to change that the wind is not in our hands. So if we go into any meditation with expectation, then we will come across what seems like a never-ending climb. Okay, I just made a full pass without anything coming out. The Three of Hearts at the bottom. Being guided to set our emotions aside. Interestingly enough, right behind that we have the King of Spades. The King of Spades. It's air. It's the wind. It's the king of the wind. The advisor. One who is good at what they do. So why question the one? It would do us no good to question the wind. as it may take you a different direction from time to time than where your expectations attempt to lead you. And even more so, the meditation takes less time to show results when we're not asking too much, if anything. All things with love is not an easy task with the sub-programming. Think about the most precious early years of our life, and our parents made our decisions for us. Now, this is not the blame game. This is not an opportunity for you to point the fingers at them. In the Western world, we call it conditional love. Because we were not seen as equals. Nor was the conditioning seen by our elders. Our religion is love. To love you, to love them. We don't always have to like the upbringing. If we're aware of it, we can overcome it. Awareness is the precursor to change. When we see through the eyes of Source, beloveds, the eyes of the beauty way, we see everyone in our eyes as equal because we are all human beings. We do have focal points to realize and observe. We get on the subject of awareness. Which is another step towards our higher selves. But I'm feeling guided to close this message here. We will speak more on awareness in part 2. If you made it this far, you are a rock star, and I thank you so very much for tuning in. With much gratitude and appreciation, I will see you in part 2. Brightest blessings.